now tuned in to the Cold Hard Truth, Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot, so grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
Late Thursday night into Friday morning.
I know a lot of people are going to Florida to take their kids off to school. So I hope they're there already, because I don't know if it will affect any flights if they're leaving.
That is true. Keep an eye on that. All right. So Aaron and I are starting a new feature called The Morning Brain Bender. And so we're opening this up to our phone lines, 943-1061. Also, our good friends on CMR who are watching right now. So what is this morning's question? Oh, by the way, the prize, if you get it right, is a gift voucher to Walk and Roll.
Delicious.
So if you're listening on CMR, Sandy's going, ooh, I want that.
I know. I eat there on time.
If you're listening on CMR, if you can type in the right answer in your comments, they'll pop up and we'll see if you're right. If you get it right, we'll hook you up with a certificate. Or if you call in 943-1061, we'll get you the certificate as well if you get it right. What's the question?
Okay, here we go. A recent survey reveals the average person does this up to 16 times a day.
Okay. All right.
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Darren's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
Cayman's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
What do you think, Sandy? What do you think the answer is?
The average person does this. Wow.
About
A day.
16 times a day.
Your mic seems off, by the way. Is your mic on?
Oh, sorry. It's on, but probably not in front of me. There we go. Makes a huge difference.
Broadcasting live from over in the living room.
I know.
Mike's still in the office.
That's a tough one.
What would you do a lot during the day?
Give the question again.
A recent survey reveals the average person does this up to 16 times a day. I'm going to say
I'm above
average.
I'm going to say picks their nose.
Am I above average or?
No, Blake. Nobody does that.
My 5-year-old does.
Everybody does that. If you say you don't do that, you're lying.
My 5-year-old probably does that up to 16 times a day. However, that's not the right answer.
Takes a sip of water.
Huh. Only 16 times a day. You need to drink more water.
You're not high. Yeah. Any of your listeners out in CMR can type in an answer to and win.
All right. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
Okay, guys.
What do you got for us this morning?
Yeah, that's a brain teaser. I love brain teasers though. Right. So, yesterday we were talking about the whole mosquito situation.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes CMR a little bit different than everybody else when it comes to news is we like to find out the why. So we're gonna talk about, okay, this is what's happening, but we also want to dig a little bit deeper and find out why. And so we were digging, and now we have the why.
So give us the why. Why are the mosquitoes so bad?
Part of the reason why is that the aerial team seems to not have their schedules together. So basically they staggered their vacation in a way that shouldn't be allowed. And I understand that it procedurally isn't allowed, but somehow it happened where the engineer is out, plane can't fly without him. And then the pilot goes out, plane obviously you can't fly without a pilot. They had one engineer that recently unfortunately passed away. And then they have the chief pilot who resigned allegedly with no notice. So it's been like a perfect storm of, all this stuff has
So
been,
how long?
brewing.
How long is this vacation?
Well,
2
quarantine.
Oh, 2 weeks. Okay.
How long's the quarantine? 5 days?
Yeah, I know, right?
Well,
We're all
mean he's
doing
off
quarantine
island.
from the mosquitoes right
That's
now.
true. Actually, they might not be off island. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk a little bit about how that happened.
Well, I know one of the pilots. I'm friends with one of the pilots.
Okay.
Not the chief.
Are you
pilot.
friends with the one that resigned, do you think?
Not the chief pilot. No.
Oh, okay.
What's his name?
Richard
No.
something or another. Yeah.
No, that's not the guy.
So
I know one of the other pilots.
Okay, but is like Cayman Airways can't fly like pilots? I'm sure.
This is a good question actually, and I don't know the technicalities of it.
No,
except that it's probably a very specific type of flight that you need to have experience in. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say it's probably not it's not just flying a plane.
About that because you have to like release stuff and know.
It's flying a plane with dangerous chemicals on it. So that's probably
it's a specialized plane too, which you need to be trained in.
Especially trained in.
Yeah. So I know that the other pilot that I know, he goes or has gone in the past to the United States, and he's one of those crop duster pilots. So he's used to.
Has he been abducted by aliens before? And then did he help save the world?
He hasn't seen any
from the aliens that were attacking. Name the movie.
He hasn't seen crop formation.
You know that movie?
He's been a crop duster.
So Marva is taking a jab at your question.
Oh,
Marva says, "Tell them swear." Does the average person swear 16 times a day?
How come we can't see the comments up on the?
Oh, I haven't put it up on the screen. Hold on.
What is the answer again?
The average person swears 16 times a day.
That is correct.
Marvis?
That is correct.
Marva.
Wow. That is correct.
Yay. I was going to say that's a low ball for me.
Yeah.
I've already done that about.
There you go. Swear. That's right. That's
Good
right,
job.
Marva, you got it right.
You get the walk gift certificate.
Yes.
I wouldn't have gotten that because see, I barely swear.
Congratulations.
And then if I do once or twice, people are like, "Stop swearing." I'm like,
Hilarious.
okay.
Well, you're going to have to get your info to Sandy so that she can pass it on.
We'll just, you know what?
Yes, congratulations. Woohoo.
Yeah.
Marva is the winner.
Awesome.
That's right.
I honestly would have never guessed that, to be honest.
I know it's one of those, it's a very
Really
easy one to think about it. Yeah.
16, I swear more than 16 times.
I know, I do too. So I was yesterday picking up my kids from school, and my littlest one said, geez. He kept saying, geez. And my oldest looks at him and says, stop saying that word. It's bad. Or I go, Ethan, I don't care. He can say geez. Geez is fine. It's just geez. Oh, geez. It's what you say instead of the other, what other people think is the bad word. And so then my oldest goes, yeah, Mom, sometimes I forget to say geez, and I say holy. And he actually said holy.
Oh my gosh.
And then I go, okay, Ethan, don't do that again. because only adults can say those words because our teeth are fully grown, but your teeth are still baby teeth. So every time you swear, your teeth are going to fall out.
Oh no! It's
And they'll never
a real
go back.
matter of
I don't know. It was the first thing that came to my mind. And so now he's like,
your teeth are gonna
terrified.
fall out.
I'm hoping it works though. He's scared of like
Well,
jump.
you know
They're
what?
scared of the canal because I told him there's a shark that lives under our dock. So
Wow.
I hope they're not.
No, actually,
listening to all
Aaron,
this.
you're onto something because somewhere I read, you know how we read all these parenting magazines and whatever, and somewhere I was reading about some culture, I forget where in the world it is, but they do a lot of storytelling, and a lot of their storytelling when it comes to like kids is all about if you don't behave, monsters are going to get whatever, like these things are going to happen. And apparently they say it's very effective, obviously up to a certain age, but it does work. So yeah.
I mean, it is a little bit one of those things where my kid's going to grow up and be like, I believed this for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soon you'll be saying, if you don't stop playing with your willy, you're going to go blind.
I already say that. No, I'm like, if you don't stop playing with it, you're going to stretch it off. Their favorite toy.
Stretch it off.
So someone said that it's only 7:30 and they've already sworn more than that because they're sitting in traffic.
Well, yeah, I feel for that person because that's so true. I mean, I'm so glad I'm missing that morning commute. But I hope my kids aren't in the car right now and finding out all my secrets.
What do you mean? True. What are you talking about?
Yeah, your teeth do fall out if you're a young kid.
You do go blind if you play with your willy. That's true.
Yeah, and you stretch it off.
Too much. Anyway.
So we also have on the show this morning, Notch joining us. He's actually in the UK, and he's going to be joining us to talk about some work permit controversy when it comes to artists that are coming into the Cayman Islands.
Okay.
So
what, they can't get them or not sure?
No, that they're giving work permits to people who probably shouldn't be getting work permits because, the Music Association has a part to play. They kind of either give a recommendation for or against work permit for artists coming in. And they have not been in favor of the ones that works has been proven. So there's some controversy there in terms of how and why that's happening.
So these are like promoters bringing in artists that aren't getting the approval, if you will, of the Music Association. Is that
right?
Kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting.
All righty. Who's coming in? There's no concert here. Is there?
Well, we had Intense that just came in recently.
Oh yeah.
What?
He was the one that went by the John Gray School?
Oh yeah.
So we're specifically going to be talking about him. Okay. And there's another one that's coming that likewise has not gotten the the blessings of the Music Association. So we're going to find out why the Music Association has an issue with these artists.
All right.
All right, that'll be an interesting conversation.
Especially,
why do you need the Music Association's approval if you're a promoter bringing in an artist?
Well, I think the logic behind it is if there is local talent that could, do what it is that you're trying to do or whatever, the association should be in a position to assist with that. But I think it's been a longstanding position where they've had them provide feedback because they're the experts, I'm guessing, in the area. So we'll see, what Notch has to say.
Alrighty then.
Catch CMR right now, and we'll see you tomorrow, Sandy.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Aaron,
have a good day.
Let's do a little dirty about.
Oh gosh, I gotta tell Blake and Aaron that joke tomorrow about dirty and the 30. You guys gotta remind me to tell them about that my daughter actually thinks the name of my show is Dirty on the 30. It's kind of funny, actually. So we're gonna definitely be talking about this situation this morning. So let me just so good morning again. Congratulations to Marva. Imagine a CMR listener was the one who got the trivia question correct. You guys are just too smart. That's wonderful. Congratulations, Marva. You are super smart. And we're going to be talking with Notch here in a second. Let me just do a couple of housekeeping things, and then we're going to get this party on the road. Yes, we are. So we'll talk about after the segment with Notch, because he's in a different time zone this morning. We will then talk about the mosquito situation, because like I said, we'd like to know the why behind certain things. It's not enough to just know that something is happening. And I think that a lot of times, this is where people stop. They hear that this is happening, and then they're like, well, this is horrible, and we're going to start talking about it. But if there is a larger explanation as to why it's happening, then I think it's only fair that we all know what that is. So quite an interesting trivia question this morning. Like I said, a few people messaging, and they're like, only 16 times a day? I swear about 50 times a day. So good morning. First comment out is about the pilots. And like I said, I think, not being an expert in this area, that there is a logistical reason for that. But we'll talk about that, and I'll try to get some more information in the meantime as to exactly how that works. Good morning, Tommy. Rita, good morning. Buenos dias. Good morning to Kay. How are you? So good to see you. Marva, I'm going to be giving Blake your contact details for your gift certificate. And there you go. They're going to put down your info. Yes. So, Louis, yes, it is a beautiful morning in the Cayman Islands. Louis, good morning. How are you? Another rainy day in Detroit, however. Are we going to get any rain today, you think? We got some yesterday. It looks like clear skies, though. I'm going to go with my unofficial weather report. Clear skies. Speaking of weather, do let us check in with what the official weather position is. Here I am talking about unofficial weather report. Do we have any weather news for today? Let's see. Nothing on email? That's unusual. Shouldn't we have a weather report by this morning? Okay. They might be a little bit late with the weather. Let me just have a look online. Otherwise, someone said that the radar at on the website for the weather service, it says that their radar is broken. And they're like, how are they able to tell us what the weather is if the radar is broken? I'm like, listen, you asked the wrong person, because I don't know if that's an old message. What I find is a lot of times these messages do not get updated, unfortunately. And so it's entirely possible, my apologies, that that's old information on the website. I don't really know, to be quite frank. But we're going to find out, because we like to know the who, the what, the where, the why, and everything. You got to dig deep. There's a journalism camp that is being sponsored as we speak, being put on, facilitated by the DART organization. Big shout out to them for doing this from Minds Inspired. And there's a good group, good mixture of kids in the journalism camp. And I popped in on Monday, which was the first day of the camp, to kind of just see what they were up to, and listen to some of the presenters. And I caught a part of one, and the guy was saying that the fundamental trait of a good journalist is just someone who is curious. And I thought, we would totally agree with that. In fact, we call it in Cayman being nosy. Same thing, curious, nosy, whatever. And yes, that is definitely a requirement when it comes to being in the world of journalism, however they want to define that. So Marshall, good morning to you. Dawn says, morning, Miss Sandy. Tea's in my cup. No more twerk, you roll, like funeral, torqueal videos today. My face is still cracked from the other day. So if you missed that on Monday, go back to Monday's show. We're not going to talk about it anymore. I'm still trying to get it out of my head, actually. Louis says the tea is hot. Yes, let's get it. Let's get it. Louis thought that the answer was using the bathroom. Do you use the bathroom 16 times a day? That sounds like a lot, actually. I don't think I use the bathroom anywhere near 16 times a day, unless I'm drinking coconut water. In that case, I'm going every minute of the day. Child, when you're drinking coconut water, it's a lot of burden on the bladder. Good morning to the lovely Leanne Rogers here. He's saying it's time to bring the smoke pans back. Olivia, thank you. Brian had an answer too. He was thinking the same thing. Yes, but Marva was in first. Carmelie, good morning. Blissful Powell. Yes, honey child. Anne Marie. Aliano thinks it's kind of low. He says that statistic must have been taken from Canada, because in Cayman, it's probably 40 plus times for Caymanians. And Kizzy says, I already passed 16 times this morning and just started. Purple Rain wants to know, what's the purpose of this chit chat with the radio host? Ooh, Purple Rain, that's an interesting question. And I'm guessing that you missed it when we first talked about it. So basically, the purpose is we are giving them just a little bit of news in their audience. You know, they've relaunched their show. So we give their audience a little bit of what's going on, the inside track, and what we're going to be talking about in our program. But more importantly, we are looking at going to radio at some point. So we are in talks with DMS, because it will likely be one of their new stations. You know, we haven't finalized anything, but we're definitely on the same page in terms of that. And so we're starting the partnership early, if you will, because they have a number of radio stations, and we are looking to. A lot of you are saying to me still, we want you on traditional radio. So we are definitely looking to make that happen. Once they can get engineers here, once the borders have mostly reopened, I think they can come in, because otherwise they come to do 2 or 3 days worth of work. It doesn't make sense to quarantine even for 5 days, really. Is a bit of a problem for those guys. So yes, it's a good question, Purple Rain. Come into radio station near you. So keep it locked for more details. Siobhan, Felicia, Wee Chanel is here. Gadiel, I've not seen you in a minute. Where have you been? Jackie's here. Good morning to Shannon. Shannon, I hope you're having a better week than last week. As you guys remember, Shannon, unfortunately, worked for Butterfield Bank, and they let her go with like no notice, like nothing, after 18 years of obviously good enough for them service, no complaints in her performance, and they just, unceremoniously let her go. And if you know, that's got to be hard after 18 years of dedicated service to a company. So Scott, good morning to you, my dear. Kizzy is here. Good morning. Speaking of Scott always reminds me about Waffle Monkey. Some of you won some gift certificates, but you never messaged me. You've got to listen. Whenever you win something on the show, you've got to follow up and just message me in WhatsApp so that we can arrange to get your gift certificate. And we do still have some prizes out from the anniversary show that I need to connect with you all with. So if you haven't got your prize, please message Louie, your aunt. I'm hoping to get her sorted out this week, at the very latest, early next week. So Louie won the mugshot competition last week, and he's going to re-gift or forward his prize, pass it on sort of thing to his aunt. So she's won $100 hard cold cash courtesy of Miracle Brokers, and a phone courtesy of Cellular World. Irvlyn, Kizzy, good morning, Megan. Anne is here. Anne says a slice of chewy cassava cake, coffee, CMR, and sunshine. Perfect morning. Cassava cake for breakfast? What? Nice. Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Jess. Tommy thought it was touching your face. I was kind of going to say that, Tommy, but I bet we touch our faces way more than 16 times a day, and we're just unconscious about it. Probably more like 100 times a day. That's why COVID is loving us. They're like, ooh, human beings are always touching themselves. Good morning, Miss Judy. Good morning, Morna. No CMR mugs. Soon come, girl. Soon come. Corrine just celebrated a big anniversary there at the Turtle Farm. Big shout out. And a birthday. She had a birthday on day before yesterday. What was yesterday? Tuesday. I think her birthday was Monday. Yes, Notch is ready. We're going to be bringing Notch in. Good morning, Notch. Are you with us? I see the circle of death, Notch. Are you able to hear us? Are you there? Not hearing you, not seeing you. We'll give him a minute. Buenos dias to Alba. Yes, Notch is in the UK, but let's take him out of the studio for a second. Maybe he needs to refresh his connection. And then see how that works. Purple Rain says, didn't like a few things he said to you, like if you're one of those people who keep vouchers you receive instead of giving them out to your audience. What? Who said that? When was that said? I didn't even hear that. Blake said that? I actually didn't hear that at all. So I don't know. No clue. That's weird. When did you hear that? Was that this morning? Bit strange. It's sometimes it's amazing the things that you do hear and you don't hear in a conversation, but I actually didn't hear that, so I don't know. But I'm sure it was a joke. Some things you can't take too seriously. And I think you just have to know people's personalities as well. And I'm not BFS with Blake by any stretch of the imagination. I think I'm now hearing a better connection there. Notch, give me 1 second. So yeah, I don't know when that was said. There's a lot of things, believe it or not, Purple Rain, that I do not take people on with. In other words, it goes in one ear and out the other. Or I see it, even on Facebook, I see these ridiculous comments and I see it and my brain is like, dump that in the trash bin, because that literally isn't even worth your brain trying to mull it over. We're going to talk about some of those soon. By the way, Notch disappeared again. Where did you go? We're going to be doing some shorter opinion segments. So listen, do you know, for years now, we've had the option for you to submit an editorial where you can do a video vlog, a video editorial. You just 1 minute of your opinion on whatever topic, and you send it in, and we will share it with our audience. Nobody likes to read anymore. I'm just being honest with y'all. Y'all know we like to keep it real here on the Cold Hard Truth and all of the CMR platform. Nobody likes to read. Y'all are video hogs. We all are. We like to watch a good video. And so instead of writing out your editorial and forcing people to read that, because they read the first 2 paragraphs and then they check out normally, send your opinion in the form of a video. Just record it. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Record it, and then we will play it. And so I'm personally going to do more of those myself to kind of get you guys used to how it feels and, like it's no big deal. And I'm going to do a series of them on COVID myths, because there's a lot of, there's a lot of those out there. And the next one I'm going to be tackling is some guests that were over on Radio Cayman, which some people said, well, why didn't you share that? I'm thinking, why would I be sharing something that's on Radio Cayman? That's their own media platform. And obviously, if you want to watch Radio Cayman, you're free to do so. But why would CMR be sharing a Radio Cayman show? Like, it doesn't even make any sense, really. But because we're not in partnership with Radio Cayman, unlike DMS. So Flashpoint says, thanks to DMS for recognizing how CMR can benefit their organization. It will be good to hear CMR on the radio. The competition will be upset. Ooh, honey child. Flashpoint, you are so on point. Good name this morning. They're going to be more than upset, child. Because, you know, the compass, or the compost, as somebody said the other day, they made me laugh, is really up in their feelings these days about a lot of stuff. And so, yeah, we've already taken them head to head, taking them on head to head on social media. Imagine when that happens on live radio. Gil, bonjour, joining us from Canada. Bishop is here. Another beautiful day in Florida. Darlene, good morning. Louise says, that's my kind of girl, cassava cake in the morning. Love it. You know, I'm not a cassava cake person at all. Like, maybe I'll eat one piece a year if you're lucky. I don't like the texture of cassava cake. It's too, I don't know. I just don't like the texture of it. Kizzy, good morning, Debbie. Oh, Purple Rain said I actually responded to him. Yeah, I'm sure it was a joke, Purple Rain. We're not going to take it seriously. Marva heard it. Pauline, Notch is here, so you can say hi to him yourself. She said hi from Ireland. Notch, are you ready? Notch, what kind of internet you got there in the UK? Is it possible you have worse internet than we do? We think we got it bad. Notch, you are literally just like a circle. Wee. Weird. Can you hear us at least? We can't hear or see you. So that's weird. Even the worst connections, I've never seen this like little circle. How are you joining us? I'm wondering, is that on a mobile phone? Laptop? How are you joining us? All right, so we got to get the tech issue sorted out for Notch this morning. Yes, you're in Ireland. Nice. And Pauline says his daughters are on their way right now to visit me for the weekend. Oh, nice. Family affair. Purple Rain says, I love reading always. Yes, it's better for you to read. Trust me. You should try to read at least 15 minutes a day. Does anybody make that? I feel like if social media and like stuff online is considered reading, then yes, I make the 15 minutes a day. If it's picking up a book and reading, yeah, that's why I was trying to get that book club kicked off, because I know none of us are doing that for 15 minutes a day. Well, not none of us, but most of us are not. Marva says Purple Rain must be watching a late segment with you and Blake. I watched that segment myself, and it was humorous between you guys. Louise says medicine has roots. That's all good. Oh my God. So Notch is trying to jump in, but he said he's at a rehearsal and he's trying to use his phone. And I don't know. Normally the phone connection is really good, so that's weird. But okay, he's gonna try to get his laptop. We'll chat until he's able to come on. All right. So Nathina says Mike Sandy makes Cayman 27 look like they weren't even trying. Ooh, honey child. Good morning, Dion. No, he's not asleep. He's ready at rehearsals. You know what is so interesting is I don't know if Quincy's listening this morning. Quincy, big shout out to Quincy. He's in Jamaica. And he likes to compare a lot. Like he's always like, Cayman 27 versus, or CMR versus Radio Cayman and CMR versus the Compass and this. And I'm like, we don't like to be compared to anybody because, to be honest, we are in a league of our own. Like, legit. We are crazier than anybody else. We are more fun than anybody else. I mean, honestly, news is fun and interesting. Is it not? Yes, I think so. And I think we've added a fire to the world of media news in the Cayman Islands. And that's why at first I was taken aback by the fact that a lot of young kids, and when I say young, I'm like 9, 10-year-olds are into CMR like you would not believe. And I heard parents saying, my son was telling me, oh, mommy, this is happening, that's happening. They're like, how do you know any of this? And the kids were telling them, well, aren't you on CMR? CMR is all over Instagram. And so I think that is an interesting twist on the changing face of media, which we've talked about in the past. But I'm not entirely surprised because we are raw. We don't put on a lot of filters. We don't pretend. We don't have to be hoity-toity in the world of news media and all that kind of stuff, right? So we've changed a lot about media in the Cayman Islands, and I personally am proud of it. So thank you, Nathina, for recognizing that. I think the writing was on the wall for Cayman 27 for quite some time. Did we maybe help put a couple nails in their coffins? Maybe, I don't know. Because literally this idea of waiting until 6 o'clock in the evenings to hear news just doesn't make any sense for anybody, not in 2021. So, we might do like, okay, recapping of upcoming events. If you want to schedule that for 6 o'clock every evening, so what's on the community agenda, that sort of thing is fine because that's not earth shattering. That's not changing whatever. So that's a-okay. But like real news, somebody drowns right now in Georgetown. Within 5 minutes, we get probably about 80 to 90% of the details: who, the what, the when, the where. And we don't really wait to put it up. So there's a real-time sense of news that's integrated with social media, with, the whole thing. It's just like totally different. And I think we push that more than anybody else because it was really a question of keeping your ear to the ground and knowing what the community wanted. So you guys know during our anniversary, for example, one of the questions was, people who won prizes. I said, what is it about CMR that you love? And 99% of people were how quickly we get the news. Time is of the essence. So whether it's a traffic accident or whatever, time does matter. No, I don't like cassava cake. I'm about to sit down and take my passport away. I'm not a Caymanian if I don't like cassava cake. Nope. Not really fond of it at all. Yes, I think that's the word, Shannon. It is a little bit too gummy for me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that quite has that texture. Yeah, just not feeling it. Catherine, will you please WhatsApp me today so we can schedule that interview? You know which one I'm talking about. And this year is not going to pass without me doing it. So please. Good morning, Omeria. Thank you for joining in. We are always blessed. Irvin says, I love to read the newspaper online every day. Yes, I think that's the extent of most of us in terms of reading. Louis says we need to be good friends, more for me, that I don't have to share the cassava cake. All right, so not just calling on the phone. Hold on now. Let's see what's going on. Hold on. Let's play a little something while not just calling.
Miracle Brokers International is Cayman's premier source for all your packing, moving, and logistics needs. Whether it's moving a baby grand piano for a concert or moving halfway around the world, we have you covered with our team of local and international experts. MBI has over 30 years of industry experience and are able to get the job done for you right the first time. Contact us today for all your packing, moving, shipping, and logistics needs at 949-5989 or email info@miraclebrokers.com.
We are still waiting, hopefully, for Notch to join us. I'm not sure what's going on. I think his connection is just bad. Just a bad connection. I don't know. Louis sounds like he loves cassava cake. Maxine, thank you. Miss Sue says she reads my good book every night in bed and the news, what's going on in the world. Your good book being the Bible, or you got another good book? Louis says voice for the people is what they should catch from CMR. Yes, child. They're slowly but surely, I suppose, understanding what's going on. Herbalist says, Sandy, you beat CNN bad with the breaking news. Lord have mercy. Okay, we're trying to see if we can get Notch here. I think he's got some internet problems. Good morning, Jasara, Leah, buenos dias. Louis says music video, Jerusalem. I love that song. Oh, yes. But we got to be careful with these music videos and stuff during the stream, because YouTube will block us and Facebook doesn't want to share it. And it's just crazy. All right, Notch, let's try that again. Can you hear us? Hello? No. Write exotic stories. Getting ready to publish my first book. You're writing an exotic story, Nathina? Oh, now y'all know people love to read those types of things. How exotic? Are they going to ban it in the Cayman Islands where you can't? Sue's so funny. She says, laughing out loud, no Bible, please. Lots of Danielle Steele books. Oh, good morning, John. Good morning, Debbie. Are you going to be publishing an ebook? This is fantastic. I think anyone who can write, and I don't care what you're writing, child, because it takes a lot to be able to write a book. I think anyone who writes a book and publishes it, hats off to you. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with the internet there. But yeah, I mean, that's quite something to be proud of. It takes a lot to write a book. Good morning, Everton. Things are crazy in the state of Florida. Lost 10 church members. I think that's the correct amount. And yet the people are still resisting from taking the COVID-19 shot. I don't get it. Oh, child. Lord, may I know. Everton, it's just shocking. All right, we'll try to catch up with Notch. I think he's going to go to a different location. He said that his driver is there, so I think he's going to go to a different location. All right, let's move on. We'll wait for him to come on whenever he can get to us. And in the meantime, Sabrina says, give me a Christian Grey type any day. So Christian Grey is as you guys know, all the well, I've never read any of those books, to be honest. What are some of the titles? Oh Lord. What were those soft porn movies? Y'all like soft porn, that's what it is. Help me out here. What the heck are they called? 50 Shades. Ooh, the guy in 50 Shades though was super handsome, I must say. He has this really sultry look about him. So you got 50 Shades of everything. It was a whole trilogy of books, 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Upside Down, 50 Shades Twerkalicious. Y'all are into all that. Listen, it's called soft porn. Y'all want the cold hard truth? Y'all like soft porn. You probably really like the hard porn too, but you can't really get it. Woo! Nathina says Christian Grey has nothing in her book. You trying to entice people? What is the title of your book? If we can allow F Boy to come here and film, and they've been fornicating all over East End, I don't know what y'all are so shy about, to be honest. But yes, if you're an adult and you're in a position to have intimate experiences, I like that word, Nathina, then that's your business. You just be safe about it. Oh, that's the name of your book, Intimate Experiences in the Cayman Islands, or are you going to put like a Caribbean twist to it? You know, I bet I could write just such a book. I'm now thinking about this, Nathina, and it's like, you guys know my degree at USF was professional technical writing, but we had to take all sorts of courses as part of that degree program. So I had to do like English literature, meaning British literature. So I had to read all those things, and poetry classes and creative writing, you know. So I think I did like technical writing 1 and 2. Then there's like a creative writing course. So there's a lot of different things that make up this technical writing degree. And I must tell you that the creative writing class was a lot of fun. And that's where, you know, these sort of soft porn books, intimate experiences, that's where they come in, right? Because you could write. And a dribble of sweat was pouring down every vertebrae in her back. Like, you have to get really detailed for people to visualize it. What's the name of that other show that people were into? The only season 1, it's an English period piece. The other day it was all over. Everybody was watching it on Netflix. Help me out here. Bridgerton, right? So everybody was into Bridgerton, and I hadn't watched it. And I said to myself, what are people going on about? Like, I see all these posts and say, oh my God, this is the best TV series ever. And I'm like, really? Okay, let me go check it out. And legit, when I watched it, I'm like, y'all are just some oversexed people. Find yourself a husband, child. Get yourself a Jamaican husband. It's sweet, it's sweet, it's sweet. I got to put that on a t-shirt. Somebody gave me that idea the other day. That, girl, you got to put that on a t-shirt. That is just so funny. And it's really gone viral. But yes, y'all seem to like these kind of, like, when I watched it, I'm like, oh, now I get it. There you are, not. Soon come to you. Soon come. Yes, I was like, oh, people like soft porn in the Cayman Islands. Y'all are bad. Miss Darlene says, saw in the local news today where a young man lost his mom, dad, and brother all in a span of weeks. He's from Cardiff. Oh my God, COVID took out his entire family, but that's not the first time we've heard of such sad cases. But wow. Sabrina's interested in your book, Nathina. She wants some info. Anyway, we've got oh, Miss Gloria says Lana Mae Smith is watching. Notch's mommy. Notch, you better behave because your mama watching, child. So Sandra, you were on fire with so many things that you gave the other morning on prison, customs, a girls' home, FIU department, and the list went on. So my stomach was truly sick, especially how corruption people can get moved and put in where they, oh, yes, child, we're not done. Corruption, you're never done with corruption because it's always there. And we have some other things we're going to update y'all with. But Notch is here. So we're going to get back to some of the comments about the books. So good morning, Notch. How are you?
I'm fine. How you doing? How you doing?
Good. You don't have to wear a mask online.
Yeah. Oh, I was outside.
You get so used to wearing it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I gotta stay safe. You know how it is.
Well, good for you because it's a good practice to continue.
Oh, it's crazy up here. I hang this off my face.
Yeah. So how are things in the UK? How have you been? You got there last week?
Yeah, cold and rainy still. Nothing changes here.
I thought they were having a heat wave. Did that pass already?
That was the week before I came.
That was the week before.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Thank God because they don't have any air conditioning in the hotels or anything. So I'm glad that it's kind of cool.
No AC in hotels?
Only heat.
Wow. That's interesting. That's crazy. I think that's why they can't handle the heat is because they're not prepared for it with like air conditioning and that sort of thing. But it's good to see you. You know, we've got a few listeners here who are actually in the UK, including Miss Darlene. She's always tuned in. Who else is from the UK listening right now? Give us a big shout out so we can let Notch know who's there with him. But of course, we've got 250 people now listening to the program from all over the world. So welcome, Notch. This is your first time here on The Cold Hard Truth. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. Now, we know that you're actually in the UK getting ready for performance. Is that right?
I am, yes.
Okay, when is that
performance? I was just at rehearsals, but I had to coordinate this because this is important as well.
Yeah.
You know? Absolutely.
Yes. Greetings from Detroit, says Louis. Bless up.
Hey,
Miss Brenda is watching. She says hello. Carol says some hotels have air conditioning in the UK because she's been to a few. Well, that's good. Notch, you need to let people
send me a list.
I know, right? And install some central AC there. All right, so Notch, listen, you've got your concert coming up. I know you're super, super busy, so we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. We want to talk about a situation, right, that came on our radar when I think that was in June, when this guy called Intense was here on island. So Intense is a Jamaican dance hall artiste or whatever they call them these days, who turns out is a very controversial figure. And in case our audience has forgotten who he is, not to worry, there he is. Very distinctive looking young man with his tattoos and the hair and the skin bleaching and everything else that he's into. And you guys remember that he caused some controversy because of the fact that he came to Cayman and then visited our schools. And he's probably not quite what you want as a role model for your teenage children. But of course, the Caymanian teenage children were all up in it, child. They were like, woo, we're so excited.
Yeah, well, they were starstruck, I think, more than anything, you know? Kids are impressed.
How does that happen, Notch? How do our children become starstruck over a dance hall artist? Is that really what they're into? I
think all kids now with social media, they kind of are into notoriety and fame and popularity, and you know, like they're into who has the most followers on Instagram and all these things, you know. So when they find an artist, they tend to want to make sure that they have their selfie taken with him so they can post and tag him and kind of connect onto that popularity, you know. And in a way, it's a big trap. I mean, because if you're not doing due diligence as a parent and you're not watching what your kids are into, chances are your kids could be into something that you shouldn't really be following.
Yes. And I thought it was interesting that the parents were the ones who initially contacted us to say, oh my gosh, we understand this man was at the school. And I thought, how do your kids even get into this type of thing without you knowing? Like, surely this should not have been much of a surprise to the parents, but I think for some parents it truly was. Like, they don't know what their kids are listening to and what the kids are into.
Absolutely. That's something that needs to be considered. Technology has moved ahead so fast. Hello, are you still there, Sandra?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Technology has moved ahead so fast that the whole world really is behind the ball on it. We're not on top of it at all. I mean, the music industry itself is a good indicator of that. It's like, think about how fast we've gone from phonographs to cassettes to CDs to now it's downloads,
Yeah.
So like things are moving at a real it's just super fast, and and it's easy for parents to not realize that parental controls are necessary when their kids are having use to social media, especially younger kids. And like you don't want kids to grow up naive and sheltered, but at the same time you don't want them to be exposed too early to something, because that can be just as damaging as anything else.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I was just saying this morning that we're going to be participating in the Darts journalism camp, and the rise of CMR, if I can put it that way, has been really shocking to a lot of people in Cayman. But one of the reasons we've been able to do what we've done is because of technology. That's the number one reason why. And so we appreciate technology here. We love technology and we know how to use it. So even the fact that I mentioned that a lot of young kids, like, they're not even teens yet, 9, 10, I've even seen some younger, when they see me in the grocery store, they're starstruck, which I think is hopefully a good thing, and they like ask their parents, can I go and talk to her? Sometimes they're a little bit timid or scared. They want to come and take like you said, a picture, a selfie, whatever. Give me a hug. I had my ex-neighbor, Pat. She came up to me at my daughter's birthday party, and she's like, I want to introduce you to my oldest grandson. I think he's 9, and he loves you. He loves CMR. And I'm like, I'm a little bit starstruck with these kids, that they're into news, that we put a different spin and flavor on news. So it's not seen as like boring, you're not sitting down there reading the Compass and being bored to death. It's a little bit more, there's a little bit more to it, but we have added that social media element. That's why people are into it. And I totally get it. And I get, on the one hand, why a lot of these artists, that's why they have to have an Instagram account. They've got to have somewhat a Facebook account. They're on TikTok. Like, they have to remain relevant in the space of social media. So everything that they do, they're putting out there for your kids to take in. And so you've got to be careful, for sure.
It used to be, as an artist, that like you could quantify your art more. It was more tangible to quantify your art. Now it's something that depends on how many streams you have, how many downloads you have, and those things are actually, they equate back to your followers, So it's just it just comes
it's
down.
Not just to record sales anymore. It's like, oh, this person has 2 million Instagram followers, so they're relevant in the world of music.
Yeah,
Big it's time. Crazy. Yeah. So let us understand the Music Association's role in outside performers and musicians who come into the Cayman Islands. Because somebody else says, I think it was Blake was saying, well, why does the Music Association have any role in that? Like, how does that work? How did that come about? Now, we know you've been part of the Music Association for a minute. Sometimes your association has gotten a little bit controversial about what y'all have been up to. But tell us, at what point in time did the Music Association become involved in the whole work permit side of things? Do you know when that happened?
Yeah, I do know. Well, I was a member of the association from its inception. It was created by Edlin Miles in 1981, and I was 11 years old. And I was in the juveniles at the time. So everybody in Cayman became members of the association, pretty much, who were active professional musicians. Even though I was in school, I was a professional musician because I was singing for my supper at Galleon Beach, etc. Right? Then the mandate of the association was a lot different than what it is now.
Right.
But basically, everything has to evolve and evolve with the times. So one of the things, like for instance, I'm a Caymanian and I'm a Caymanian artist, but I'm also an international recording artist because I record music. So initially, when the Music Association started, the mandate was just to oversee the local entertainment scene, which was to make sure that locals were given a level playing field at the local establishments where they would perform. And now the mandate has changed because we have loads of local recording artists who are actually trying to get out there onto the international scene. So as you can see, the remit has grown, right? Right. So, for instance, copyright laws and all these things now directly affect Cayman artists, and these are things that you'll hear the Music Association talking about in the very near future and trying to advocate for because it's important because it's the livelihood of the artist, and we're actually behind the ball on these things. Other societies are way ahead of us, including in Jamaica next door, where music brings in, I think it's something to the tone of four so not for 40 million US dollars a year into their economy. So you for a small economy like Cayman, that would be something amazing, especially like now that we've had COVID and we see that tourism has fallen and,
Right.
and we don't have the revenue from that. But anyway, the Music Association's role is basically to make sure that there's a level playing field for all artists. As a Caymanian artist, when I come overseas, I have the promoter who brings me here right now, VIP Entertainment, had to make sure that I was approved by the local music union, which means that he had certain criteria to go through. And basically, the Music Association has just tried to emulate that to make sure that what happens in Cayman happens in other jurisdictions. For instance, in Jamaica, if you were to bring in Diana Ross, she wouldn't be allowed to perform solo. She would have she wouldn't be allowed to perform solo. She would have to have an opening act who was a Jamaican artist. Now that wouldn't be someone who's of a low caliber, obviously, it would be someone of her stature, but it would just show that that would be a work opportunity for a Cayman. And excuse me 1 second, okay? I
Yeah,
just have
sure.
to you open the door. It's important.
Okay, no worries. I'm going to just pull him out of the studio real quick. So getting a little bit of information here. Judy says teens have been going crazy from using music stars for decades. I don't think the question is about how or why he's popular or famous, is it? It's how did he end up inside the grounds of the school? Yes, but I think Judy, parents do need to understand because they're missing the boat as to how and why he is popular for their teens because they honestly just didn't get it. So I think that is an important part of the equation as well. Sorry, Notch, I brought you back in now.
All right, darling. There's well, I mean, why he's popular. I'll digress to that really quickly. Also, is because in Cayman, the Jamaican subculture in the Caribbean is a dominant culture, and it's taken over the Caymanian diaspora big time. So what's happening in Cayman is that, and obviously some of that comes from the integration of Caymanian with Jamaicans and they're forming pseudo families and all this stuff.
Right.
But generally, the Jamaican culture is so dominant that when I go overseas and I speak to people and I say to them, I have to always identify I'm from the Cayman Islands because if I say I'm from the Caribbean, they say, oh, you're from Jamaica. Because Jamaica is so dominant. They don't think of Antigua, Barbuda. They don't think of Guadeloupe, Trinidad, Barbados, Cuba, Puerto Rico.
The Caribbean is very diverse, but it's definitely, and you know what? I think that it's been that way probably forever, or at least for a very long time, because even when I moved to the States in the 1980s, and I would say I'm from the Cayman Islands, people didn't even know where the Cayman Islands was because we didn't have the reputation yet as being the headquarters for drug runners and money laundering. So they would say, the Cayman Islands, is that Jamaica? And I'm like, what? Like, I would look at them like, you don't know where the Cayman Islands is?
I
thought something was wrong with it.
I went to school in New York, and they used to tease me. They say, "Oh, you come from the Caveman Islands."
Yeah, they had no clue. We weren't even on the map. Literally, we were not. Like, I'd be like, okay, we're below Cuba, and we're, you're trying to find the little dot that represented us on the map back then, because people just didn't know. And I remember the first time I met someone who actually knew about the Cayman Islands and they'd visited. Her dad was like a pilot or something. So apparently he had come here on their private, like their little prop plane or whatever. So he kind of knew, they would come a couple times. And so she's like, oh yeah, I know the Cayman Islands. I'm like, oh, you do? It was such a shocker. But it was either, is that Jamaica? Is that the Bahamas? Because they know the Bahamas as well. And that was like the extent of it. And it was like, okay, Americans, y'all need to get it together. So yeah, I do think that and not just the dominance of the Jamaican culture as a whole, but now we have on the music scene and with the promoters, particularly here in Cayman, the dominance of this dance hall culture, which I think is super interesting. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit on this program because, they don't have the best reputation in the world for being the type of subculture that you want, even on a musical level. And there's nothing wrong with people enjoying different types of music, but with that culture comes a lot of other fringe things that I think people need to be aware of.
Big time. Big time.
And it's a
all
reality.
The glitters isn't gold. No, all that glitters isn't gold when it comes to the Jamaican culture. But I must say, in defense of the Jamaican culture, there also is a lot positive that it has to contribute. It's just we need to be able to you weed out, the plums from the duff and make sure that we get it right, because Cayman's the last place that we want to ruin on the planet. But it's because it's our refuge, it's our safe haven, and we don't want to see that happen. And that's why the Music Association's position is what it is, which is pretty much anyway. So to give you a little bit of history. This happened, you asked earlier how long we've been engaged in endorsing artists from overseas. And we've been doing that now for, I'd say, pretty much 15 years. That has taken a lot of relationship building with the former immigration department, to make sure that they understood the reason for advocating for a level playing field.
Right.
Cayman artists can't go into Jamaica's jurisdiction and just go up on a stage and perform. Matter of fact, you're lucky the Jamaicans, if we tried that, wouldn't burn down the dance. That may be exaggerating a bit, but one thing is for sure, the dance wouldn't go on if the Jamaicans aren't getting their share of the pie in their country. And that's something that we are too passive within Cayman. We allow people to come into our country, they make a ton of money, and we just sit back and we're satisfied with the crumbs. And most of the jurisdictions in the world, that doesn't happen, in particular in the arts world, right? So the music business is a shrewd business, and everybody everywhere is making sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. And in Cayman, the Music Association tries to stand up for those things. So as a promoter, if you're interested in bringing a show to Cayman, we had a relationship with immigration that guaranteed, that secured that you had to come and get an endorsement from the Music Association.
Okay.
The Music Association, you levied a token fee. If you're in the business of promoting, $100 extra per individual that you're bringing in shouldn't make or break you, considering that most shows in Cayman, if you think about Cebu, for instance, as a yardstick, the entry to Cebu for a general admission was almost 400 CI dollars for 2 days. So on an average, that's $200 a day for an event. Now, that's a music festival compared to a single promotion event, which the ticket price would be pretty much $50 a head minimum for general admission in season, and an off season, half of that. But if you got 1,000 people to attend to the venue, you've just secured $25,000 at your gate, and that's not, you haven't started to give a distinctive audience now with VIPs and all this. So anyway, the Music Association charges a token endorsement fee, and that token endorsement fee comes with the role and the responsibility of vetting the artists who come. It doesn't mean that we issue the work permit, but when we give the endorsement, we also allude to the fact that immigration should look deeper into the artist, or if the artist is cleared for a performance, right? Now, there are rules in Cayman like any other jurisdiction. So, for instance, you have to make sure that there's no profanity on stage. That includes cursing, because you would be, if somebody just went up on a stage and started to curse in Cayman and they were Cayman, regardless of where they're from, they would be subject to arrest, prosecution, and even possibly incarceration. So if you went up on stage and you did certain things aren't allowed in the public domain anyway. And this brings to light something else that I think, which is that shows in Cayman now that we're evolving should be for mature audiences, if that is the case. If you're going to bring a certain caliber show, maybe that show needs to be listed as for adults only, 18 and above, and then you can guarantee that the people who are in there are adults, which means that you don't need to worry so much about the lewd content. But that's another debate. We're not there yet. Our government hasn't allowed that. So in the meantime, we just issue the endorsement as we see it. And we had Intense on the radar. He was applied. An application was put in. We responded to the application in a timely manner.
So how does it work? When they put in an application, does work then contact you? Then an application has been submitted? How does this work?
They basically send us an email at CME info, identify. I guess they know the ropes.
You mean the promoter? The
promoters.
Okay,
they know the ropes, right? So they send us an email with a brief overview of the artist that's coming. And we say to them, okay, look, this is what the procedure is. And we look into it, and then the transaction starts, etc. And we give an endorsement, or we don't endorse the show. With Intense, particularly with the Intense show, I recall that they sent the email with the overview, and then they didn't follow up at all. They just disappeared off the radar, which was strange, but not something that was unheard of.
Right.
A lot of promoters kind of venture in and then they go, oh no, I don't want to do this anymore. So anyway, they disappeared off the radar. And then we heard through the grapevine, through the Marl Road, not the grapevine. We heard on the Marl Road that Intense was in Cayman, landed. So we knew right then that how could this person get into our country, knowing the protocols of immigration, without having a work permit issued? And how could a work permit be issued without a CMEA endorsement? Because immigration reserves the right to issue or deny a work permit. So the Music Association, in fairness, could deny someone an endorsement, and immigration could still go over that and decide for whatever reason. I don't think that's healthy, but they have that power to override your recommendation. Anyway, so because we heard he was on the island, we started to investigate it. We called immigration and we found out that the person was indeed on island. and that immigration had indeed issued a work permit and they were quarantining. So we started to backtrack and say, well, how could this happen? Now we are aware in Cayman, if we're not naive, we're aware in Cayman that immigration department, I like to say, you people are human, and everybody has their friendship network, and a lot of people don't realize that when they're doing their job, they shouldn't mix that with their friendship network. So I am aware that there are people who have worked for immigration who are personal immigration agents for certain promoters. If I'm going to promote a show, I don't just go to the counter and sit in the immigration office waiting for my number to be called. I get all my ducks in a row and I go directly to a certain agent and I say, here's my stuff, put it through for me. And that happens all the time because we've started to do that with the temp agencies. They started to do it in the corporate world. For good or bad, it's a practice that happens in the Cayman Islands, right? So we thought two things at the CMEA. Either someone at immigration circumvented the Music Association's endorsement and gave a work permit for intents, or there was someone from the CMEA who had given an endorsement that was illegal, meaning that it wasn't something that the board sat on. It didn't come through the proper channels. Now, one of the things that created that opportunity is all of this confusion over the Music Association that was created by certain individuals in the past. Now, naturally, as an NPO, we stand up to a lot of scrutiny, and that comes with the territory, and we're held to a mandate of transparency and accountability, and we try to maintain that at the CMEA. Having said that, there was a rift in the CMEA executive in the year 2019, at the end of 2019, going into 2020. There were members of an exec council of an exec board who decided that they were going to have an AGM without waiting for the proper AGM time. I personally wasn't even invited to the AGM, and I was a sitting president. So that means, in my opinion, it couldn't have been a valid AGM. And unlike Donald Trump, I believe in a proper transition of power. That is important for continuity, which is something I'm certain that you can appreciate. So in this rift that went on, it seems a lot of people tried to take advantage of that, particularly some promoters, and start to also sow seeds of discord among the membership, that there were two execs and there's two CMEA boards and there's only one CMEA. And I'd like to put that on record here. This is the first time I've been on the Mile Road. There's one CMEA and there's one CMEA board and there's one president, and that is currently myself. I am the registered controller. That is according to the NPO office, and everything that relates to the CMEA has to come through whoever the NPO recognizes as that board. Sometimes I must admit, because it's a voluntary position for all of the members of the board, we are behind in our administration. But generally speaking, we are always compliant and up to date. And as you know, we just got just recently, I think it was in 2015, we got a new NPO law. So that created a whole new situation where we had even more I's to dot and T's to cross and to make sure that we were compliant. Ironically, all those things are tied to financial services, because the arts now are tied to financial services, because if we didn't need as a jurisdiction to be on the green list for financial services, not on the black list or on the gray list, then we wouldn't be even considering compliance in the areas of the arts or in NPOs, so to speak. But all those things go hand in hand because financial services requires full compliance, right? So I just want to put that out there to make people realize what's happening in the country in the broader scheme. Music doesn't stand in a void. Entertainment doesn't stand in a void. It's all interconnected and interrelated. So we did the investigation. We called the work department, and we found out that indeed there was an endorsement that was given, right? That endorsement was given by a former member of the CMEA executive. That was someone who was not at that time, sitting on the board or in the capacity to, or with the responsibility to issue an endorsement, right? So I'm going to ask, or in that capacity, the person wasn't in that scope at all.
So how do they let me try to understand this, right? Where did this you got some feedback, I'm not sure why all of a sudden we have feedback on, but where did this email go to? Is there not like a general email address that it would have gone to?
It didn't come to us at all. That's the thing. What happened was it came initially to ask us for information about the initially it came in to ask us about Intense as an artist, and then there was no follow-up, and the follow-up happened on the streets in Cayman. The promoter was here with all this confusion that was going on with the CMA exec. He went to one of the former members of the executive and got them to sign off on the endorsement as though they were the CMEA, and that was put into the immigration department, to the work department, and processed as though it was a valid CMEA endorsement. But
so do you think that the promoters purposely did that, or was that an accidental situation where we just ran in? Because it's strange that they would do the initial contact by email and then you hear nothing else by email, and then they just run into someone.
I agree, but personally, what I think happened is that the person realized that the mandate of the CMEA is to scrutinize performances. And if they had submitted it to the CMEA, the official CMEA, it would have been turned down. So they deliberately tried to circumvent it by going to this individual. That's what I think. Because everyone knows that the CMEA doesn't endorse certain types of shows.
Yes.
Right? That is as known as the fact that you have to pay this token fee for the endorsement. So when we found out that this individual had done that, we did what we thought should be done. We reported it to the Financial Crimes Department, because firstly, it would have been a financial transaction. The promoter would have paid that person.
Oh, so they would have gotten paid. They would have taken the money as well. So it's not just
Exactly. So it wasn't only fraud, it would have been theft. But if there was a money transaction, because when you come to the CMEA and you get an endorsement, you get a receipt that we have to show to auditors when we audit our financials, that these monies came from there and this is where they went to, which all of our monies have to be spent by the end of the year because it's an NPO. So no one in the CMEA is making any money. It's all a labor of love. And we do it because we try to maintain the standards of music. Personally, I'm involved with the CMA only because as a childhood artist, I always had demands of the CMEA that I thought they were not they were not responding to, or they were not taking care of. And that's because I was a recording artist from early. Like I have to go on record here and say that it's
Mhm.
interesting. And no, we're not a censorship council. No, we're not. Like I said, we don't issue work permits at all. But what we do is we basically alert immigration to the fact that this performer could have a questionable performance. Then it's
Yeah.
up to immigration.
Well, I mean, let's be quite frank here. Censorship in Cayman wouldn't be anything unheard of or anything new,
No,
because
exactly.
the immigration department itself censors artists. So they have in the past not allowed certain artists to come in because of profanity,
Hmm.
because of, they have a reputation for smoking marijuana and pot, or because overall their performance does not align with what the Cayman Islands sees as its
They used to stop Rastas.
reputation.
They used to stop
That,
Rastas. They used to censor Rastas from coming into the country.
yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
So I
So I
mean,
mean,
to
exactly.
answer that question, I think the bigger question is, does immigration still have these criteria in place? And if the CMEA is also, um, you know, going or being guided by those criteria, then I suppose it is what it is. I do see a number of comments from Eden and others about the AGM. I'm really not trying to get into that right now because that isn't the purpose
Exactly.
of the show. We can have a totally different show where you guys can hash out what's going
Well,
on with
well,
the
well,
internal workings of the
well,
CMEA.
after
But
I have to respond to Eden and them and let them know that we
um,
have moved on from that incident, that unfortunate incident, and we wouldn't like. There's a brand new exec, and the executives were functioning fine and perfect, and the CMEA obviously is doing its job. It's doing its job. That's just it. So we don't want to go back to 2020 and talk about allegations that were made erroneously and things that actually were done maliciously to malign my character, when really and truly, and I never ever you rebutted to those things because I try not to go low. I was always told that um, you got to be important when people are talking about you. So I just do what I have to do. But this isn't about me. This is about the Music Association and Intense. So that's what I wanted to stay on. I was just trying to give an overview for the listening audience so they could understand what our role is and how
mhm.
we got involved in the whole situation. And that
So
if
let
you
me also notch bring in another element to this that a lot of viewers may not be aware of. So, like I said on this program, we like to dig into things a little bit extra. And here's what we discovered about this performer and how he came to Cayman. So here is a business license application that
yeah,
was submitted mere months before
hmm
his appearance on island. So it's very
no,
interesting because it looks like this business license was taken out for the
exactly,
sole purpose of
exactly.
bringing intense here. And this is where I think that our government agencies, whether it be works or the business
I'm so
licensing
glad you
board,
I'm so
they
glad you
need
provided
to,
stuff.
yeah, they need to be in tandem with each other and know what is going on. So here we have a lady named Sanita Johnson who takes out a work permit trading as British Bling Entertainment. She says she does weddings, event planning, disc jockeys, and entertainment. Um, I don't know,
No,
she gets the
no.
entertainment category. So then she's issued a license in April, on April
Mhm,
the 16th of 2021.
mhm.
Now, have a look at this by contrast. There was a similar business. Look at the names, right? This one's called British Bling Entertainment versus British Bling Entertainment. Say what? They're the same name.
Exactly.
But
This is
hold
very
on. Hold
this
on
conversation
now.
is going to
We
get
we not
heated.
finished. We're not finished.
Love it.
So this is Rhonda Livingston. So she has a business license under the exact same category, same name, that was taken out in July of 2020. Doesn't expire. Well, I don't know if she's renewed it, but it didn't expire at the time until July of 2021. How is it possible that somebody else, who, by the way, is connected to the entertainer British Bling, right? So one is the wife, probably
You
soon
the
to be
promoter.
ex-wife.
The promoter.
Yes. So one is the soon to be ex-wife, estranged wife, whatever, Rhonda. And this one now is I think one of the girlfriends. No, his
Exactly.
ex. No, this is another ex-wife. Okay, it's a little confusing, folks. So this is another ex-wife that was used to take out a business license and the same name as the
Sound like a
current estranged wife for the promoter. I'm just like, how does this work?
sound like a soap opera.
Yes, and it ain't days of our lives. It's a mix up upon mix up.
You know, Sandra, I'm going to say something here that I'm going to go on record and say something here, right? One of the things that I find that, you have the endorsement there. And if you notice,
All right.
and if
So
you notice that CMEA seal, that
yes.
seal has been missing because it's been in the hands of the illegal executives, the ones who actually tried to take over the CMEA. So now we know who gave the endorsement. You can see
Well,
that very
this is
clearly
a
right there.
different one. This is for an artist named Gage that apparently is coming in September. So
Right.
this isn't even the one for Intense.
Well, there you go.
This is coming September the 10th. So if
Well,
you're
that seal,
saying that Intense, that this happened with Intense and he was brought in without the current board's authorization, I'm telling you, this might be news to you, Notch.
this
But
is
this
news
is
to me. He signed this on behalf of the CMEA?
I don't know whose signature that is, but it says Steve. Does it say Steve Reed? It looks like Steve B. Reed or something.
Well, Steve, you
Assistant
remember the
treasurer.
current executive. Is this for a guy called Gage?
Yes.
Very interesting.
So you know CMR got our sources, child.
I love
Is
it.
that email address down at the bottom the CMEA email address?
CMEAinfo@gmail.com.
It looks like, hold on, let me see if I can enlarge it further here. But it looks like it could be, hold on, let me just verify what we're working with. So it says CMEAsinfo@gmail.com. Assistant treasurer, executive board member, 9164724. Yeah.
Okay. You did
And it
what
says
did
that it actually says that the executive board of the CMEA is satisfied that Kenroy Kelly, trading as Hyperized Entertainment Group, has followed the recommended procedures. And this one says, however, the majority of the board could not agree to give a unanimous recommendation to the granting of the work permit due to the lyrical content of the artist's work. This
There you go.
endorsement is granted with the stipulation, so they still granted it, that the above be employed only with Kenroy Kelly, trading as Hyperized Entertainment Group. Feel free. I'm a bit confused by this letter. So they're satisfied that the correct procedure has been granted, but the majority of the board, has this been brought to your board? Do you know anything about this?
That has been brought to the board, and the wording of that isn't quite what it should have been. No. Yeah.
But you're saying that this person isn't even a current board member.
Steve Reed is a current board member.
Oh,
and
he is.
That seal I thought was an old seal because I thought that was the other document. That's a new seal that was created. I can't see the stuff is from. I can just see that the seal was used. I didn't even realize that the new seal was being used.
Right. So this is Steve. I think it says E Reed or B Reed. It's hard to see. So this is a letter from your current board.
Right. That is.
So you guys endorse this Gage guy to come?
No. No, we haven't endorsed. What the letter should have said was that after reviewing his material, that we could not give an endorsement.
Oh, well, it
Well,
says that it says this endorsement is granted with a
exactly.
stipulation. So that's,
That's news to me.
oh Lord, well, he's coming to Cayman.
Gage.
Yeah. Who's Gage? Do I need to Google him and see?
Yeah. Um, you know, I'll take this two
Sounds like a
things.
hot mess.
I'll take this two things at a time. It sure is. Well, firstly, the granting of trade and business licenses. We are almost at the stage now, I think, where if you're going to grant a trade and business license in a certain area, it should be that in a certain sector. I think it should be that the people who are in that sector have some type of way in, possibly. It's obvious with the information you showed previously with the British Bling Entertainment that what's happening there is that you have Cayman females who are taking out work permits who are taking out trade and business licenses for people that are that they're in relationships with. Yeah,
Yes, we see this all the time. And just
that's
stick a pin there 1 second, Notch, because we even brought this up in relation to a guy named Blake. What was his first name again? Mario Blake, trading as some entertainment thing as well, doing photography.
vibes
And
time. Vibes
yes,
time.
vibes time. And let me just remind our viewers, because I think unfortunately we all have very short memories, right? I don't know that immigration has ever done anything with this guy, but this is a perfect opportunity to now remind our viewers
He's actually a
why this
photographer
is so
promoter.
important. He's been in the news for a number of reasons, Chow.
Yeah.
But we actually did an expose on him where we were wondering how on earth, I'm going to pull up this story because y'all need a cold hard truth moment here today. We have forgotten convenient memories. Look at this. How is it possible that this guy, right? We did a whole thing. This is one of his boat cruise fiascos. There has to be another story in relation to this, but let me see if I can find him. But basically, Vibes Time has had numerous work permits in the Cayman Islands. I think maybe it was this one.
Oh, he is in the Caymanian.
No, Caymanian. Hold on here now. Every woman he gets, going back to this point of these women taking out work permits for these guys, it's like one of the benefits of why they're with a Caymanian woman is to get a work permit, a business license. So he has had multiple people take out business licenses for him. So this is part of it that maybe if y'all only read the first two paragraphs that you might have missed, right? Because he has only ever had a work permit to work for his mother's company as a I forget what his title is, a gardener. So Mario Vibes Time is a gardener in the Cayman Islands.
Wow.
And yet, right, we have allowed him to be involved in the entertainment business as a photographer, as a promoter, going around, setting up girls to go to these different events, all of this stuff. And meanwhile, he's here as a gardener. Mind you, at some points, he has actually not had any valid business license other than that of a gardener in his mother's business. He's never had a work permit to work as a photographer, model agency, or a promoter since his first work permit was issued in 2006. Now, hold on. We're not done.
Wow.
Y'all need to start reading some details here, folks. This is the foolishness. Let me enlarge it so y'all don't miss it.
Yeah.
That's going on here in Cayman that should not be allowed. And this is where Works needs to get their ish together. Okay? He's all over social media saying that he owns Vibes Time Models and Vibes Time Entertainment, which was formed in 2008. We took the screenshots that shows the information established in 2008 by Mario Blake. Immigration, if you don't want to do an investigation, it's all here on a silver platter for you.
You know, we have had a similar problem with the immigration department in the past, and I don't want to. You know, it's so sad because we have to maintain a relationship, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but we actually provided them with videos of people in Cayman who are working, doing another job, and then moonlighting as entertainers. And when the person was brought in, they said to them, "Oh no, I'm only doing this because I love music." You can love music from your living room. You don't have to be up on a stage in a commercial environment, holding the microphone and going off a DJ you with a DJ. And they did not prosecute the people. They actually let them go with a slap on the wrist. The person left the island and rolled over, came back, and now they're doing it just as bold.
Well, listen, Mario seems to marry a lot of Caymanian girls and gets his status through these marriages. So he has been married at least twice to Caymanian women. The first marriage was to a young lady named Ashley Christian that lasted for about a year. By the way, not throwing any shade at Ashley, but no one seems to know that she was even married to Mario. If that's not a sign of a fraudulent marriage, only God knows what is. He refused to sign the divorce papers after she was done with him within the year, or I should say, I don't know if he was done with her, I guess because he wasn't willing to sign it. That forced her to lodge a formal complaint with immigration. Then he lawyers up because he's one of them that believes that because he can afford a lawyer such as HSM, that they can do whatever they want. Now, y'all might not know this, but Mario's mother is one of the first people to sue the immigration department for not giving her status after being here for donkey years. Yeah. And she actually won. So they have this idea in their head. And I want to be very, very clear about this. They have this idea in their head that as long as they get the right lawyers, they can do anything they want, legalize it after the fact, and it's fine.
They're abusing our country.
Of course they're abusing the system.
They're abusing, and they're laughing at us in Cayman.
Yes.
They're laughing at us in Cayman because, you know why?
His first wife, here the joke now, the first wife worked for the RCIPS of all places, Jody Ann Tater. They were divorced in 2014. Now he's had an anchor baby with a third Caymanian woman. And they are all complacent in taking out work permits for his quote unquote company. So if you go and you search the history of who has had a business license for this Vibes Time Entertainment, the business license changes almost every year. It changes hands because the dude can't even stay in a relationship.
Yeah, but DCI should be flagging this. And they shouldn't be allowed, people shouldn't be allowed to abuse your system like this. It's not right.
Then, in October,
Sandra, I get your point. And one of the things that we fight hard against in Cayman, right, at CMEA, is people who have a job and want to do music and entertainment commercially in Cayman, and we consider that to be, if you have a job and you want another job in Cayman, you need to get an addendum to your work permit. If you don't have an addendum to your work permit, according to what I know of the Cayman law, you are actually working illegally and you are actually jeopardizing your legal job because you could be deported for abusing our immigration policies. Am I correct in that?
Of course. Listen, there's too much slackness going on. And here's the thing, right?
A lot of it.
In order for immigration to do their job, I mean, it looks like this is very much the writings on the wall, but they also require people to come forward, people who've done businesses with this company, because, immigration isn't going to put you in trouble, but they need that evidence to be able to say, okay, we know that he was doing business with these companies. But you know what I fault immigration for? Immigration needs to hire somebody like me as a friggin' detective. Because it don't take, the man is posting the photos of his jobs all over the place. What do you mean you need more proof? What more proof you need? The girls are out there complaining, go back to her videos about how he hired them to do a job. He hired them and never paid them. What more evidence do you need, immigration? Get your shit together.
It's
All
terrible.
right. October
Terrible.
2019, he came under some degree of scrutiny about this limited company. Again, trading as Vibe Times Entertainment. They hold a business license. Some guy named Michael Webster. By the way, this is not the Michael Webster who works for the insurance company, because last time he was calling me child. He's like, everybody in Cayman call me thinking this is me. That's not him. He wants to now take out a part-time work permit and share it with the mother's company, claiming that, he needs him to work for the new Vibe Time Entertainment child. I don't know who Cassia Webb is. She has held a license. In 2014 to 2015, he got then wife, Ashley A. Christian, to hold the business license. I mean, there's been so many people who've had that business license trading as. Now it's an incorporated company. There was times when there wasn't even a business license. It lapsed, and yet he was still out there doing this sort of thing. Y'all need evidence.
The sad part.
Here?
You know the sad part about it.
Scam them.
You know the sad part about all this is that we almost act as though once you pay your fees, you can do whatever you want to do. That's the message we send.
Half of them are not even paying fees. Let's not go there. The point that I'm trying to make here, folks, is that this is not the first time that people in this promotion entertainment business have taken advantage of the system. They're doing it all the time. And nothing is being done about it, and that's why they continue to do it. So y'all so-called Caymanian wives, because some of them just get the status, and then they're getting their kickbacks, they're getting paid, getting their nuts cracked. I don't know how they're being compensated, whatever. They are allowing themselves to be used, and that allows the system to be used. Exactly. And that does not benefit the Cayman Islands in any way, shape, or form. Johan talking about mosquitoes getting out of control. We got another pest around here getting out of control. Cameron wants to know how can the left hand not know what the right hand is doing when they need each other to wash the necks? Yeah, $1 million question. They're not paying attention. They don't even care.
And I don't know. It's not a laughing matter, and I shouldn't be laughing.
Sarah said she's scratching her head. Well, she's not the only one.
Sandra, there's so much going on in our country. I hate to say it, that is being allowed, or rather that we're turning a blind eye to. That if we as Caymanians don't start to really run a tight ship and start to tighten things up, we're going to lose it all. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have somebody was talking to me the other day about the Pride March, and I said to them, I said, I'd gladly go out and support the Pride March when I know that there's equality for Caymanians in the workplace, and we're not being relegated and ostracized and subjugated to the lowest of things in our own country. Like, why is it that we're turning a blind eye to that? So I mean, this is just one of those other things. The music, and I do my best as a Caymanian, as a generational Caymanian, to stand up for what I know the rules are and what the rules should be, and try to make it fair. But I mean, I'm only one person, and there's so many more other people that in other sectors need to just stand up and put their hands up. Many people in Cayman know what's happening with these relationships with Cayman girls being used.
Yeah, it's called marriages of convenience, and we've talked about it before.
Exactly. And nobody says nothing. Nobody says
Natasha says she hopes the government is listening. Well, I mean, immigration is who needs to be listening. Works.
Well,
Border
immigration,
control, they're the ones who need to be listening.
you brought up a very good point. What needs to happen more than anything, instead of putting Caymanians out of work, they should be hiring Caymanians in certain sectors, like you said, just to investigate that alone. I mean, you got so many people that are in their 60s and they're displacing them and acting like they're nothing and bringing in this foreign workforce. It's ridiculous, you know? Like, give those people who are seasoned and qualified jobs to figure out stuff like this, and give them the parameters and let them go and sort this out, because we're just giving away our country. We're just laying down, letting people. It's like Cayman's a prostitute now. My grandmother used to say, "It's grand Cayman and not grand no more." I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It's really unfortunate, and we're doing our best over at the CME when it comes to entertainment. We have flagged so many things, but one of the problems we have, everybody that becomes our friend, the way that we entertain strangers in our country. Yes, we're good people and that came mankind and all that, but that can get you killed. That can get you killed. Like, you got to watch how you entertain strangers. Like, just because somebody comes and they go to church with you one day doesn't mean that that's a good person. Like, but that's how we do it, we went to church, what a good boy. And, my daughter can marry him, and all the person wants is what? A visa to leave Cayman.
Yes, what a hot mess.
So,
Well,
I mean,
I tell you what, Notch, this whole situation is unfortunate. So to the best of your knowledge now, Works is looking into this. They're investigating this. We hope to have some sort of an update on their investigations and that some action is taken. Now, who is it going to be taken against? Listen, British, bless his little heart, he's the promoter. He's already left the jurisdiction after this fiasco.
With a bag of Cayman money.
Well, he packed up, he shipped all the cars and everything else, and he's living large in Jamaica and enjoying his life.
Mm-hmm. And looking
to fool over on this side of the pond.
And looking to circumvent our system, I'm sure, by putting on a show indirectly with somebody else of that caliber and trying to do that. One of the things that happened with the past government.
There's obviously big money in the promotion business. I will say that much, obviously.
One of the things that happened with the past government, interestingly enough, is that when we transitioned from immigration to work and CBC, we didn't carry that policy over, that the Music Association endorsement policy, it seems. I don't know why we would have left something like that alone. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. But anyway, a lot of things that happen in our country don't make sense. And
just to clarify, someone says that the original British Bling Entertainment, I'm guessing that that's still an ongoing business, by the way, same name, but that Rhonda took out, that was not acquired for Toto British. Well, they all use that same British name, child. That one has produced certain concerts, the last of which was Dextra Daps, that was collaborated with Digital.
That's the same guy. It's the same guy. It's the same exact person. Sandra. It's the exact same person.
Well, folks, British Bling Entertainment had nothing to do with Intense Concert. Not that first one, but the second one has. What a confusing mess. Listen, it's messy. Kenneth Bryan is listening. Good morning, Honorable Minister. He said that we are listening. Well, we know at least Kenneth is. Kenneth listens to this program, and he keeps.
Well, I hope. I don't just hope they're listening. I hope they actually do something about it. Like, we need some action in Cayman. We don't just need no more lip service or no more air.
And
service.
Brenda says it's good to know that you're listening, because the people, the Caymanian people, have been crying for a long time.
Don't hear them. Do something. Let's get something done. Hire Caymanians to do stuff that we know. Listen, it's for us to safeguard our own country. And what's happening here, it's really a cultural invasion. And more than that, it's an economic invasion, because Caymanians are being displaced and put at the bottom of the barrel. Yeah. And everybody's rising to the top like cream. You know that?
Yeah. And Jonathan says, I see them promoting all kinds of shows on Facebook all the time. This is the thing that gets me with Works. Enforcement, start paying attention to social media, because 99.9% of your cases could be It's like Perry Mason. You just show up in
Exactly.
court and you're like, Your Honor, it has been solved already thanks to social media. We know exactly what's going on because they're bold. They don't
They are
care.
bold. You know, I'm
They're
gonna
breaking the law and they put it all over social media. I'm telling you,
because
this Vibes guy,
we
you
so
go on social
fooled.
media and you find his footprints all over stuff.
Because we're so fooled. That's how they act. They act like we're deaf, dumb, and blind. You know. But I'm going to say something here that I need to say that's really important. Do you know that it's a CMEA policy that you should not promote a show until you have your work permit? Because if you promote a show before and you don't get a work permit, you could actually be promoting something fraudulent.
Right.
Right?
Because by that
So,
point, you're already selling tickets, collecting
exactly.
money.
You're
And if you
collecting
don't have your work
revenue.
permit, the event might
And
not happen.
that has happened here before with Beanie Man shows. It has happened with Champion, who God rest his soul, and many other promoters who have come and they've sold people on. I can bring this one because he come from my parish in Jamaica. I went to school with him. I know him. That's my friend. And all of a sudden, the guy don't know nothing about it. They're selling tickets. Somebody makes a ton of CI, and what it does is it lets people lose confidence in the real concerts that come, and they don't spend any money because they say, well, oh, I just lost my money, so why would I now pay for a good concert? And the good concerts lose. Those promoters go away with a loss, and the ones who win are the hustlers. That's what we encourage. We need to do something about it, and nothing's being done. And
Somebody says he not speaking no lies about that part. Half of these DJs, all they like to do is talk, and no one's paying money to hear them chew up their mouth. Love music, yes, but love your people more. Tell him to expose them all. What a hot mess. Oh my God.
I have to leave you though. I have a rehearsal, as you know.
Yes,
Performing
my
on
God.
Friday
All right.
with
Notch,
Big Mountain.
thank you for coming on the program. Next, we're going to talk about mosquitoes, folks, because they're biting us. I still got all kind of bite marks. Ms. Brenda says Cayman has become the new model of Jamaica and the mongoose. As a promoter, you're right. That's like putting down steel before planning approval, says Cameron. Johan says you got to play the game. Don't get played trying to play. Well, I tell you what, I mean, the general consensus is Caymanians are the fools here, and we are being played like I don't know what. 300 people on the live stream right now, folks. Thank you guys so much. Big shout out to our YouTube listeners, 75 of those, and 225 on Facebook. Don't go anywhere because we're going to continue the discussion. I feel like I've been slapping myself and itching for the last week, and we're going to get to the bottom of why.
I want to say one thing before I go. Do you remember that we imported mosquitoes?
You gotta be lying.
You forgot that we had imported mosquitoes? Check Katina, she'll tell you all about it.
Oh, you mean the experimental
yeah. Well, that's what happening now. That's what happening now. All those mosquitoes, that weren't supposed to be biting us, they biting us. I have to go because I have to go to rehearsal. The guys are phone is blowing up.
When is your performance, Notch?
I perform on Friday in Oxford, on Sunday in Manchester, and at the Bath Festival on the 21st, and then on the 27th we have a show in Newcastle, and those are the 4 confirmed dates. We have some other shows that were confirmed, but the promoters have chosen to put them onto their calendar for next year. So I'm definitely going to be back. I'm releasing a single while I'm here, a remix with Agent Sasko of the Jamaica, conscious DJ, not a slackness DJ. I don't deal with that kind of stuff. So I'm going to stay a little while just to promote that song. And I'm trying to come back home so I can open up the craft market again, because that's really important to our country. It's one of the last.
Send us some information on your single.
Yes,
Johan, he's in the UK. Are you in London right now? What part of the UK are you in?
No, now I'm in Leeds. We're rehearsing in Leeds because this is close to. It's kind of in between both. Everybody out there, hit me up on Instagram, Mr. Notch. Come on, man. Let's get this social media thing going. You know?
All
And
right.
and you can see the live footage when we lodge up Cayman from the stage. Max Priest was asking me just now. He said, Notch, I want to buy a house in Cayman, but I don't want to go through real estate. So I told him, I said, unfortunately, Max, I don't think that's possible anymore because the real estate agencies in Cayman have become a syndicate. They're like the mafia. So I don't know how we're going to get away with that, but I think it's something that we need to look at as well, you know?
Well,
I'm
he
always
doesn't have to go through a real estate agent. There are a lot of people privately selling homes still.
Well,
But
true.
tell him to message us. We'll point him in the right direction depending on what he wants to purchase. Notch, I appreciate you coming on to
Thank
the
you so
show.
much for having me.
Again, you're no longer CMR Cold Hard Truth Virgin. You've been indoctrinated.
I love all of them.
And we hope to see you again soon. Good luck with your concerts across the UK, folks. If you're in the UK, check out Notch. I'm sure he'll publish the schedule on his Instagram page, so you guys will know exactly where he's at. Manchester, Leeds, and a couple other places. I think King, are you still listening? Are you in Manchester? I feel like you're close to that area somewhere. But
Yeah,
yes,
King.
check him out. He's
King.
going to be performing.
I'm going to be on Cayman Connection sometime, but definitely, King, if you mobilize the Caymanians, man, I want to shout out to my people from the stage and know that not one person got answer but a ton, you know? Make them see the Caymanians are here, man.
Yeah, Brenda says that he can reach out to her for his real estate needs. She's got some leads for him.
Sounds
all right,
good
folks. Erilyn Thompson listening. Thanks again, Notch. Have a good one.
You all have a great day.
All right, we'll get you some details on the music and concerts and so on. Bigger money and that too. All right, so I'm still itching, folks. I've got at least 10 to 15 mosquito bites on my stomach. And when I was talking with someone recently, I got them on Saturday. I went to some place and the grass was a little bit higher and they just came out of the grass. So when I was talking to someone about that, they said, you know, there are different types of mosquitoes, and they actually told me which one I was getting bitten by. I forgot already. I can't even remember the name now, but I'm going to tell you all about this because apparently Cayman has a lot of mosquitoes. Just thinking about them making me itch. But just as an FYI, this new guy, Gage, boy, we sure can bring him. I was just doing a little Google search. He's approved to come. Here's what he looks like. Just a quick Instagram view. Here you go. Wow. Wow. What happened to him here? How he looks so dark in this picture? And then him lighting up here. My God. What a thing. Lord have mercy. He denies living in his car. Says poverty rumors a lie. What a mess. Well, we sure can find him. Wow. Anyway, apparently he's going to be here and be performing September the 10th. So I guess those of you who this is your cup of tea, there you go. You should be more than happy. Somebody says he looks like a bleacher too. Yes, child, that's part of the dance hall culture. If you're in dance hall and you're not bleaching, then something wrong with you, apparently. It means that you're probably already a brown skin. So although even some of them bleaching to be even whiter. But yeah, that's part of the dance hall culture. The tattoos, the bleaching, the teeth. It is what it is. So there you have it. All I can say is what a hot mess. And now that we're going to talk about mosquitoes, I feel like they're already biting me. Listen, these mosquitoes have come up with a vengeance, but here's what we have been able to ascertain in terms of what is going on with the mosquitoes. So first of all, did you know that there are actually 36 species of mosquitoes in the Cayman Islands? Oh, Lord have mercy. 36? Ugh. There's lots of them. Let me show you. This is courtesy of the MRCU's page. We fighting them, child. We fighting them. Here we go. They come in all shapes and sizes, my dear child. 36 species exist in the Cayman Islands. And all I can tell you is they are pesky, like you would not believe. Oh, where's the bit about 36 of them? They tell you all this information. Oh, yes. Oh, God. Here we go. So yes, 36 species. They come in all different shapes and sizes. And the person said to me that apparently the ones, here we go, brief guide to the common mosquitoes of the Cayman Islands. Someone said, the ones that are biting you are, I forget which ones they said actually. And they're known to be like, they live in the rocks out East End way and whatever. So this person's like, yes, honey child, they're the ones who are biting you. I was like, Lord have mercy. And they tend to really leave all these marks and stuff on you. They're a little bit different, I think, than some other mosquitoes. So we have the black salt marsh mosquito, the most abundant pest in the Cayman Islands. And this is the one that most of the operational efforts are meant to control. So these are the ones that are mainly in the swamps. So their eggs are laid in the mud. And when water levels rise, they hatch in large numbers. So that's why the rainwater comes with them. Lord have mercy. Then we have this other one, the two largest species in Cayman. I don't even know how to pronounce their proper names because they're all kind of, what is this? What? How the heck? That must be a silent P, I wonder. Sophora ciliata and Phasura Colombia. I don't even know. Listen, these things are deadly. They're ridiculous. I just can't stand mosquitoes. And of course, down further is the Aedes aegypti, which we know quite well. This is the one that carries a lot of diseases, yellow fever. They love to be, these are the ones that you find in your home because apparently they love to be around humans, right? They breed in water drums, guttering, buckets, discarded trash. That's why you got to keep the trash cleaned up. They're in your homes. So make sure that you don't keep any sitting water around the place. They are in pet bowls, plant pots, right? And they have a distinctive black and white body, and they bite mostly in the daytime and late afternoon. So that's why sometimes you see the foggers go out and they actually fog during the day because that's when they're going to catch this particular breed of mosquitoes. But child, look at all these mosquito types. Oh my God. All kind of diseases they carry. Malaria, chickpea, dog heartworm. Yes, they're the reason why your dogs get heartworm. That's why you shouldn't keep your poor dogs outside because they're being bitten up by mosquitoes. You think that you're being bitten up by mosquitoes. Child, the poor dogs are getting it too. And they get heartworm from it and they'll die from heartworm. Dengue fever, yellow fever, Eastern equine encephalitis, St. Louis encephalitis, lacrosse encephalitis, the West Nile virus, Western equine encephalitis, Zika. Oh my goodness, they'll kill you with all kind of stuff. Go check it out, folks. Got all the details here of all those different types of diseases. They are ridiculous. But here's the thing. We were talking about, oh, that's a video I got to watch. We were talking about how ridiculous, oh Lord, all these tabs I still have open. We're talking about how ridiculous these mosquitoes are. And would you believe, here you know, here you, look at this one. Running from, this was me the other day. The first time I did any running in a while, child, I was like, oh my God, what is with these mosquitoes? Here's the reason why. MRCU, please get your act together. We just not about this life. So as it turns out, the MRCU has some answering to do. What's going on? The aerial unit hasn't been working because they decided to take a vacation. Here you know. Okay. The chief pilot, Richard Clow, or whatever the heck his name is, I forget where I heard he's from, maybe South Africa or somewhere, but I don't know. He's opted not to renew his contract, but apparently didn't bother to give anybody notice. Now, how does that work exactly? How do you not renew your contract and don't give people notice? I would love to know. But they said it was the end of his contract and he just left the job just like that. Boom. Well, he wouldn't be getting a very good recommendation from me for the next job. Anyway, he probably doesn't care. He probably already has another job lined up somewhere halfway around the world. Maybe he's following Dr. McNeely to wherever he's gone. So we're down to one pilot. We have 2 planes, 1 pilot. The engineer who must be working in order to make sure that the pilot can fly safely, because they do fly at very low, what would we call that? Low, what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Very low, what's the word? Altitude, right? So the other pilot can't fly without the engineer. So somebody allowed them to take vacation at the same time, and the vacation is overlapping. So the engineer, he takes his 2 weeks vacation at a time when vacation isn't supposed to be allowed, because this is when rainy season, the swamps are full of the mosquito larvae, and the land guys can't get to those. Like they'll go out and check and take a sample of what's going on, but their aerials, their neighborhood fogging doesn't impact those swampy, marshy areas. That has to be done with the planes. So then the planes can't go anywhere because the engineer takes a vacation and the pilot takes a vacation. So right now, all this rain we getting and the mosquito larvae are hatching like I don't know what. There's no aerial operations. Why is that? And it's not as easy as, oh, well, just call the RCIPS helicopter pilots to go fly it. Apparently, it's not quite that simple. Now, here's the other thing. You guys remember that Dr. McNeely was bringing in this pesticide that is known to cause neurological issues in children and other issues. Now, the funny thing about this is I don't hear any of you. It's called melathion or something, right? This phyphenon, it's a controversial adulticide insecticide banned in Europe, banned in the US until Trump got in. Y'all talking about they're trying to kill you with, what are we talking about now? The vaccine. And here they are killing you with this insecticide that has been banned in most places in the world. Thanks, Dr. McNeely. And not a one of you were on any talk show talking about that. Wow, isn't that amazing? I mean, truly amazing and shocking. None of y'all talking about how they're trying to kill you with all this mosquito stuff, causing cancers and God knows what else, and killing your children as well. Neurological and genotoxic effects on children and probably humans too. Killing the local bee population. You want to know why there was a decline in the bee population? Thanks to the former head of the MRCU. And bees play a very important role in the ecosystem of this country. Y'all just need to keep up. I'm telling you, this is a hot mess. So now that McNeely's gone, the new head of the MRCU, we understand, is Dr. What's his name again? Oh gosh, Dr. Hold on. Oh, he just got appointed the other day. Dr. Alan Wheeler. So he's not going to be using this controversial agent anymore. He's basically storing it. Hopefully it's being safely stored. Because I think in certain circumstances, certain emergency circumstances, there could be a case use for it. If there's an outbreak of any of those diseases from the Aedes aegypti, right? So if they have a breakout of dengue or whatever, they might have to resort to using that. Now, y'all riddle me this. Answer this question. Good morning, Pat. How is it possible that the MRCU's aerial unit doesn't actually fall under the MRCU? Did y'all hear what I just said? The MRCU's aerial unit does not fall under the MRCU. It falls under the acting chief officer, Nellie Pucci. So Miss Pucci, I'm assuming, is the one who would have signed off on this vacation. Now, the critics say, listen, I'm sure she's a nice acting chief officer and all of that, but maybe nobody told her that you cannot schedule these two guys to go off at the same time, because then there's nobody to fly a plane. That the engineer can't take a vacation at the same time that the pilot is taking a vacation, because they kind of have to work in tandem with each other. And especially when you're down to a single pilot. What? You know, when you don't understand, and I'm not claiming to be any expert in this at all, I'm relying on people who know what they're talking about. But when you do not have the necessary understanding of how all of this works, then maybe you make a little mistake and you give people vacation when it's like, hold on, in our procedural manual, in your contract, doesn't it say at a time like this, you're actually not even supposed to be taking vacation, because this is like the height of breeding season for mosquitoes, when we need to get to the larvae? Because once they're hatched, child, it's, you know, hitting yourself in the head, smack, they're everywhere. So all day yesterday, listen, I came home yesterday afternoon, and by 6 o'clock, I was in bed sleeping, because I had to take some Benadryl the day before. And then that Precure, whatever, the one with the little insects on the box, I had to take orally some of that. And that stuff makes you drowsy. It knocks you out. You can't do anything but sleep. And it's actually important for you to sleep, because the body needs the rest to try to take all the mosquito toxins out. Drink lots of water. Here's the thing now, right? This is what I suspect is going on. This is just my speculation based on things I know. Here we go. Speculation, not confirmation. And remember when they did this whole letter of no confidence? This was back in July of last year against McNeely. A good number of the employees actually wrote in saying, you know, they signed this petition, this letter of no confidence. We, the undersigned, and it was signed by, I think, I can't remember the exact number, but it was most of the employees, right? There are a few people who didn't sign it, who were happy with McNeely. One of those people is the chief pilot, who's now left. So I think he didn't renew his contract because he probably doesn't like the new director. Because apparently McNeely would allow him to fly at this altitude of like 62 feet or 80 something feet, when it should be like 100 or 150 feet. And he likes to fly very, very low. And that was one of the criticisms. The use of that controversial pesticide was also one of the controversial things about McNeely, and other such things. So I think McNeely had his supporters, which included the pilot team, and now they are pissed off that he's gone and that the new guy Wheeler's in there. So they are trying to undermine the entire department. Because listen, 1 week of no aerial flying at a time like this will allow, I'm going to say, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of mosquito larvae to hatch and to kill us all off. And when you and I are thinking about it, we don't know what's going on in the MRCU. We don't know that maybe there's some inner fighting, and we don't even know that the aerial unit doesn't even fall under the new director, that it falls under acting chief officer. Huh? You understand what I'm saying? If you don't know all of these details, then you don't quite get what is really going on here. So they're going to hold the entire country hostage for a week or two with no aerial operations. Oops. Right? Make us all get bitten up. We're all drowsy and having to take Benadryl. And the first thing we're going to do is what? Cuss MRCU. Why can't MRCU get it together? Y'all killing us with these mosquitoes. But nobody told you aerial doesn't even fall under MRCU. How do you have foggers and the rest of the, what do they call themselves? DPOs, right? So they are the disease prevention officers. They're the ground crew that go out there and they test and, you know, whatever. This is where the mosquitoes, whatever. How does any of that happen in isolation from the aerial unit? It's impossible. No, they're not owned privately. They're part of government, but this don't make no sense. You see what I'm telling you? We trying to pick some sense out of all this nonsense because it really doesn't make any sense. Why doesn't it all fall under MRCU? How can it be a cohesive operation if it falls under the chief officer? When did that happen? Who made that stupid decision? The progressives, probably, because they've been in there for 8 years and it's not nothing new. Ralston saying he hoped that they don't get as bad as it used to. Someone mentions we also have the species called big ass mosquito. MRCU falls under the Honorable Sabrina Turner's ministry. I think that she needs to speak. Well, we need y'all to be speaking, yes, on this. Ministry Turner, please look into this and find out whatever you can for us. And do let us know what's happening here. This falls under your ministry. We need an answer. We need several answers because this is just ridiculous. Aerial unit. Oh, sorry. Let me not accidentally mute the mic. Aerial unit, please get it together. Louis, nothing wrong with the plane, you know. It's not the plane that's down. It's the pilots that are out of commission, taking a vacation. And apparently they can't take vacations during certain time periods is what I'm learning. And this is one of them because they need to be out there trying to kill these mosquitoes. Folks, it's horrible when you can't even go from your house to your car. Like right now, by the way, I got to run. I'm just going to meet the RCIPS media person to see if we can't get them on the show. But here's another thing, right? I can't go from my front door to get into my car, which is only a couple feet, without mosquitoes swarming me and getting in my car. So for the first minute of the journey, I have to roll down all the windows to try and get the mosquitoes to fly out and go back and be free and go bother somebody else. This is unacceptable. Okay? We don't want to be killed by mosquitoes and all the diseases that they're carrying. Yes. Ugh. I need to go spray some off on me now. And you know, I'm extra sweet. I don't know about some of y'all because I hear some of y'all don't even know nothing about mosquito bites. You're like, oh, they never bite me. I'm like, well, I must be extra sweet, and extra sweet because listen, they love to bite me. And this particular batch that bit me the other day, I'm really having a reaction to them. They're going to tell you that they don't have enough money for the chemicals. Lord have mercy. They got enough chemicals. Don't worry about that. Folks, get with the program. MRCU, aerial unit. Don't embarrass yourselves. You're not making MRCU look bad. You're making yourselves look bad because we are going to find out the cold hard truth. And if the fault lies with the aerial unit, we are going to let the people of this country know. And there's only a few of you in the aerial unit. And I know you think that you're irreplaceable, that nobody else can do your job. But just like how they brought in the chief pilot from overseas, what was his name? Richard Clow. I'm sure if government is really minded, they'll bring in some contracted workers as well. Speaking of contracted workers, we are investigating, and I got to go after this. We are investigating this story. Yes, Brandon says he can't even walk his poor dog. Child, I'm telling you, I can't even go to the car, much less walk a dog. But we are investigating this rumor that seems to persist that disgraced former head of the DPP's office, and he should be disgraced, Patrick Moran, has secured him a job as a consultant in the Solicitor General's office. Now, this is still speculation, not confirmation, but I've heard it from more than one source. So we have reached out to the Attorney General, to see if he will confirm one way or another if they have actually given Patrick Moran a contract. Mr. Solicitor General, please let us know. Because the cold hard truth is going to find out, CMR is going to find out one way or the other. Y'all not easy. Giving him a contract of employment. You better try and hire yourself some Caymanian workers. There's lots of Caymanian lawyers out there, well qualified, looking for jobs. Advertise the position if you claim you need a consultant. and they can apply for it and get that job. Listen, you department heads really need to get it together. I'm watching you with a very, very keen eye. Johan Moxon made a comment earlier. Let me see here if I can find it because it was spot on. I remember seeing it. Senor Johan El Fuego, where was your comment? Let me see now if I can find it. I think it was a while back. He basically said that nothing is getting done. All right. Johan says government departments only seem to respond to Mall Road or fear the repercussions of being discussed on CMR. Well, that's unfortunate because truth be known, we don't want to talk about you. We want you to have it together. So that being the case, just get it together. We will find something else to talk about. Huh? How about that? Anyway, folks, it is what it is. Now we got some cold, hard facts that we need to be dealing with. And as a result of that, we will get some additional updates and we let you know what else is going on. El Rey, thank you very much. Yes, we're going to keep them honest one way or the other. Jess says, I really hope this is just a rumor because otherwise, God help us. Paul says, Cayman and Bermuda must be using the same handbook. Y'all have the same problems there, right, Paul? Yes, we know it's not unique. Skullduggery is never unique to anywhere in the world. It's just a question of how much are you willing to call it out. Oh, this microphone stand really gets on my nerves. I got to talk to my IT manager, aka hubby, about trying to fix this because this thing's always falling over on me. Yeah, child, you need to get me another one. But hubby says to me, if you buy one more piece of equipment, I'm like, listen, I got a job to do. I need equipment. It just isn't. I don't know. Something not tight. The screws are loose on the microphone, but we still get it sorted out. Anyway, folks, it's disgusting. These government departments and agencies and whatever just need to do better. Anyway, I'm off. Like I said, got court tomorrow, by the way. I'll tell you guys a little bit about that later on. There was a case that was discharged yesterday. We can talk about that tomorrow. So I got all my little legal documents here, child. I'm trying to prepare for tomorrow. But I do have a meeting this morning, a couple of meetings tomorrow as well. Oh, tomorrow is Thursday. So I will be at the, just an FYI, I will be at the journalism camp for Minds Inspired. This is a dark project that they put on as a guest speaker in the morning. So that means that a regular show isn't going to quite happen in the normal format. I need to double check the time. I've got the schedule here. Actually, let me have a quick look at the time. So tomorrow is Thursday. Yes, the 12th of August. So I'm speaking at 8:45 on citizen journalism for about an hour. So I think what we'll do is maybe I'll go to the coffee shop and we'll do a show from the coffee shop on location. Yeah. Beautiful. My people, stay informed. That's the only way that we can hold people accountable. We need to know what's going on. So all of them that are trying to hide information, prison, I see you. I'm hearing the stories about how y'all trying to lock down the information. You're trying to make sure nobody knows what's going on. Somebody always knows. Hiding the information isn't the way to go. We will always find out. One way or the other, it's going to come out. Another person arrested, that's been rumored all week. We'll get the information. If we don't get it now, we can get it later. Remember that, Candy? Now or later. That's how it happens. No need to hide it. Be honest. Try it on. Honesty looks good on us. Folks, have yourselves a wonderful day. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, God's willing, even if it's for a shorter show from the coffee shop. Maybe we'll have a coffee and chat moment there. You guys have a lovely one. And until then, until mañana, be safe.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.